You are listening to the Baby You've Got This podcast, where you receive mindset and business coaching designed for the everyday gal who has big goals and dreams and is craving that guidance, insight, and reaffirmation for creating success in their life. This is episode number 20, and I'm interviewing the beautiful Bee from Manifesting Squad. Bee is a money manifestation coach who helps women to manifest abundance by breaking through their manifestation blocks. She has worked with numerous clients to supercharge their manifesting power using her unique skills and intuition. I'm really excited to hear Bee's Baby You've Got This moment, as I know it's going to be something really inspiring for us all. This amazing woman was in a space where she was constantly suffering from an abusive relationship and felt extremely stuck in her job. Bee finally got to a point where she decided to take power back into her own hands after having given it away for so many years, and now is absolutely thriving and working in her passion. I can't wait to hear her Baby You've Got This moment and learn what steps she took to get into this much happier space. This podcast is brought to you by Abundance Club, an exclusive online membership to a 16-week revolutionary coaching program that is guaranteed to uplevel your health, transform your wealth, and evolve your mindset. Just a reminder to hit subscribe so you are always in the loop when a new episode drops. We are so grateful that we can give you this time and content as you listen today. And remember to leave a heart-filled review and 5 sparkly stars if you are listening through iTunes, or leave your love-filled comments in the comment section below. By this process, you are contributing to our bigger vision and impact of inspiring and helping women just like you to grow their success and to strengthen their mindset. Don't forget to leave your Instagram handle on your review so we can give you a shout out and recognize you for your greatness too. All right, let's get started. Hey Bee, how are you going?
Hi Kim, I'm great, thank you. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm so excited. And guys, I just want to let you know that I'm over here down under in Perth, and Bee is all the way on the opposite side of the globe in Germany. So I think this is so cool that we're on literally polar opposites of the globe talking right now. And we just want to let you guys know that we feel like with everything that's going on in the world, there's probably like an extra billion people using the internet at one time right now. So we're going to see how this goes, and hopefully we have a nice strong connection during this whole recording of this episode. So, beautiful Bee. I want to say I just love what you do. I love everything about manifestation, and that's exactly what we're about here. It's just about that, reaffirmation, the mindset, the putting the intentions out, taking control of our life and our goals. And I know that you've got so much goodness and advice to give. But do you want to start with, tell us a little bit about yourself, tell us a bit about your journey when you were in that point of struggle, and paint that picture for us.
Oh, yeah, sure. So, as you already mentioned, I was in an abusive relationship. I was doing a job that I really didn't like, and it made me really feel stuck in life. I wasn't moving forward at all. I felt really trapped, and I wasn't happy for a very long time. As you can imagine, if you are in an abusive relationship with someone who tries to control you, and if you just do not live your passion, if you don't have any passion in your life, and luckily I got out of that relationship, and that was a turning point for me. So I decided, okay, this can go in both ways. Either I stay in victim mode and pity myself and think about all the bad stuff that happened to me, or I take power back into my own hands. I try to learn from that situation and build a life that I enjoy, that I am passionate about. And I decided to take the positive way and change things around, really. And that's when I got started with the law of attraction actually way before, but obviously it wasn't really working for me. And when I got out of that situation, I thought, okay, the law of attraction actually does work. And I probably did a few things to attract a life like that into my life, to attract life like that. And I wondered what it is that other people do that are super manifestors, and how they do it. So what is the real secret to the secret? So I found it's not just being grateful and visualization, but there's so much more to manifesting your desires, your dream life, joy, abundance, money. And I figured out it was something that I like to call um, manifestation block or abundance block. And for me, I had really big blocks going on. That's why I got into a situation like that. For example, I thought I need a strong man to takes care of me because I cannot do it myself. I'm not smart enough to do it. And this kind of thinking brought me in a situation like that. But when I discovered these blocks, I was really able to change my life.
Yeah, yeah. And I love that you can share that so honestly, because it doesn't have to be an abusive or it could be an abusive relationship, and someone might be suffering from the physical abusive, someone might be struggling from a verbally abusive, or it could be a situation in the workplace that's really abusive, but they spend so much time there. And I feel like, and I want to say this, and I love, if those of you who've been listening to past episodes, I like to say I drop truth bombs. I can say things that are triggering, but it's just about being raw and real. And you said it really well and it can trigger some people saying, once you realize that we manifest everything that happens in our life, and then you look at all the, the shit stuff, all the stuff that's been really challenging and the stuff that we would never wish upon anyone, but we're suffering it, and really we've actually attracted it in ourselves. And I'm going on a little bit of a tangent here, and I want to ask you this. I didn't ask you this in our preparation for the episode, but I feel like if you're willing to share, what is it that you feel, you kind of touched on, I would love for you to go deeper, is what did you feel once you realized you were attracting your own struggle and pain, and you were attracting this abusive relationship? What was it in yourself that you felt like was attracting that? Like, what do you feel like you were doing in your life? And I'm sure it happened over many years, probably from childhood. You had these beliefs and these stories you created. So I'd love for you just to be vulnerable and share with us more of what it was you were telling yourself and what it was getting you into those situations. So, if people are listening and they're in the same now, that they can relate to it.
Yes, sure. So I thought basically that I am not enough, and that I'm not enough in so many ways, that I am not able to get a job that I like, that I'm not able to earn money with what I love, that I am not able to take care of myself, that I needed this strong man in my life. And there were so many not enoughs going on in my mind. And you're absolutely right. A lot of that comes from our childhood, because as children, our subconscious mind is so open to pick up thoughts without us really having a conscious say in it. And they sit really deep, right? Very often we are not consciously aware of them. So I wasn't consciously aware of it. I didn't realize that I thought that I am not enough to earn more money, to have a better job, to have a loving relationship. But yeah, it's so important to really discover these beliefs or blocks that you have, because that's the very first step to change your life around.
Yeah. And it's It sounds so, when you say it, right, it sounds so simple. All of us listening, we're like, oh my gosh, we have all had moments where we don't feel good enough. And we forget that, yeah, it has come from us growing up. It's those subconscious beliefs that have been instilled in us. And it's actually a bit of a relief now. Like, so those of you listening right now, if you feel like, it is okay to acknowledge the fact that you feel like you're not good enough, because you've got to acknowledge it first, right? It's like the first part of the process anyway. So I really love that you shared that, because not many people want to admit, that they want to stay a victim of their situation and their past, and they don't want to admit that, hang on, it is me and my story and my beliefs and what's going on in my head. So from this, you said you had that moment. Well, we're going to get into your baby, you've got this moment. So what made you, what was it, the exact point and that made you have this, like, I'm done, I'm sick of this, like, I'm worthy of more? And like, take us into a bit of a process of how you got it. So not only acknowledging it and having a baby, you've got this moment, but how did you like stick to it, and how did you get out of the whole, for lack of a better way of saying it, but out of that dark space to start the process now moving forward?
So luckily I have a good intuition, I would say, and I realized that something wasn't right, because slowly it was getting worse, and then my self-defense mechanism went up probably, and I realized, okay, something is going not really well. And it wasn't just like, it didn't happen in one day. It was more of a process where it was building up more and more, and I realized it more and more until actually a tipping point was reached, right? Because there's always a tipping point. A decision is made in one moment and then you change your life. And I just realized, this is really, stop this, I'm in the wrong movie, this is a Cinderella horror story, this is not what I wanted, this is not what I deserve. And luckily I reached that tipping point, and got out of that situation. I think that was like the first step to take power back into my hand, where I realized, okay, I have to change this now, because this is not the life that I desire. This is also, I didn't believe that this was all there was for me, because I believed in the law of attraction so much, and I thought other people can do it, there must be a way for me as well. So yeah, the very first thing is, I think, to get out of a situation like that, to take a step back, to take time for yourself, and then from there build things up step by step.
Yeah. And it is like, guys, if you're not taking notes, hopefully, unless you're driving, take some notes on this, because I think it's so crucial that so many of us, we feel like we're having our struggles, or we're in a space that we want to break free from, and we decide, like, okay, I'm done, I'm ready to do this, and we decide in a day, and then we expect it, because I've been here too, and we expect the next day to be amazing and shiny and full of rainbows, and we forget that it actually takes time. So I think that's such a key element that you described there, is you've got to give it time. So wherever you are right now, in whatever struggle you're having, whether if it's really heavy, really big, or even if it's just something little, but it just keeps happening, it's about giving yourself that time. And I think it's so important, because it's so easy to be impatient when it comes to this stuff, especially when we know we want to achieve these goals, and we want to create more love and happiness and abundance, but it does take time, and we must be patient. And so I think that's really important. And there was something else you said. I'm like trying to take mental notes to remember. We talked about time, and it'll come to me. But that's all right. I love that. So you took time. We're taking it one step at a time to break through. Oh, that was it. And I remember. So letting you had to leave that relationship, and I know. I want to talk on a fact, like what you're saying is so relevant to any struggle that's happening. You knew that you had to leave the relationship, and whatever it is that we're struggling with right now, that it might, if we want to break free, but the thought of actually leaving it, whether it's a friendship, might be a family relationship, partner, a job, and it might be really scary. And I'm sure for you, it was really like, it was still scary to actually have to break free from it and let it go. But I think a beautiful reminder that you've reminded me with is we have to choose our hard. Like, yes, it's going to be hard to let go and break free and remove ourselves and ditch what was causing us the pain. But it's like, that's going to be hard. But what I find harder is staying and being delusional and thinking that, oh no, I'll just work on it. I'll work through it. Things will get better. So I love you made a point of that. Is like, you've got to ditch it. You've got to say goodbye. You've got to leave what you believe, like what's pulling you down. Because if you don't break free from it, well, you're never going to get anywhere, right? So from there, now I know you've had many babies got these moments. So I'm really happy you shared this is kind of like your big one that caused you to have a turning point in, your career and your lifestyle. So how did this change your circumstance moving forward? So what did you feel like you made these big steps to get rid of what was pulling you down? And yeah, what did this create for you, and where did it propel you forward?
So everything changed actually. My inner world changed and my outer world changed. So in my outer world, for example, I created a business that I loved. I always wanted to work as a coach, but I never believed in myself. I thought, I cannot do it. I'm not smart enough. I cannot do the marketing. I don't know how all of that works. I cannot be successful. So I put all of that aside and gave myself just the opportunity to do it and to try it out. And so I've built up this coaching business that I love, where I help women to manifest more abundance, joy, love, happiness into their lives because they deserve it so much. So yeah, in the outer world, that is going on. I have, of course, so much freedom. I can do whatever I want now. People who have been in an abusive relationship, I think they know what I'm talking about. And yeah, in my inner world, which was actually the most important change, because I had to change my inner mindset so that there could be an outer change in my inner mindset. I discovered the blocks and I worked on them. I removed them. I replaced them. I started to love myself more. I started to believe in myself because this is so important. And yeah, just believing in yourself and loving yourself and experiencing abundance in so many ways, and taking time to experience abundance, be it in nature, with your loved ones, whatever that may be for you. To really take time to practice that is so important, and I can assure everyone that it will show in your outer world once you start to work on your inner world.
Yeah, and it's so true. I love the saying that your outer world is just a reflection of your inner world. That's exactly it. And I know, like, you talk about, you do start to love yourself more. You do start to have more freedom. And I know so many of us are like, yeah, I want that, but how do I do it? And as you said, you've got to let go of the stuff that's holding you down first, because the minute you let go, you create the space for this knowledge and this confidence and this certainty to come in with the self-confidence, with the self-love, with the freedom. And we all crave freedom. I think it's everyone. It's in the top values for like everyone in the world, right? Everyone wants that feeling of freedom. No one likes to feel like they're being controlled or they've got the puppet strings on. So, and the sense of freedom, it starts within our head, right? It starts with our own thoughts, but we have to remove the things that are tying us down. And, you know, I guess we just can't say it enough to everyone who's listening, to everyone who feels like they're struggling. They have to let go. They have to let go of those things. So I love this. And I also want to add in, before we finish up with your top tips for us, guys, like, this is another really important factor to put into your journey to break free from anything that's pulling you down or struggling with, is you do have to get help, right? And I know you're going to talk about that next, Bee, anyway. And that's why, you know, yourself and myself, and there's coaches. We even have our own coaches. We're coaches ourselves, and we need our coaches to help us go on our journey, and then we can then help other people through the journey we've been on. And I think, because it took me a long time to understand that I needed to invest in a coach. I needed to invest in some kind of coaching. You know, the stuff that you do is absolutely incredible. Like, you've helped so many women so far on your journey, and I know you're going to help thousands and thousands of more women as, you know, the lifetime of your career. So what are your top tips going forward? What are a few of your top tips if someone was like right now listening to this and like, oh, I want that freedom feeling, and I want to start loving myself more, but just don't know where to start? What is like a couple of simple tips that you want to share?
Well, there is one great method that I really love doing, and it has tremendous effect once you do it. So it's very simple, and you just shift into asking what you want. And it works like this. So instead of saying affirmations, for example, I love myself, I am rich, because your subconscious mind won't believe it. It's just a superficial statement that you might say. But if you change that up into asking, what would it take for me to love myself more? Or what would it take for me to experience more abundance in my life? You suddenly open up the channels to receive different answers that you yourself wouldn't have come up with. So, for example, you ask, what would it take for me to experience more abundance? And suddenly you have all these new ideas that you didn't have before. This can be what I love to do, for example, just to treat myself really nice once in a while. For example, I used to never buy blueberries because I thought they're too expensive. I know it's funny, but I think everybody has some area in their lives that they don't do, that makes them feel unabundant. So for everyone, it might be something else. For me, it was the blueberries. I would buy apples or bananas because I thought they're cheaper.
Yeah. I love that so much. we all have our blueberry metaphor. Yes. We all have our own version of our blueberry. I love it.
So yeah, and once you start to invite more abundance into your life by doing these little exercises, by asking and acting on the answers that you receive, that you discover, you will definitely be able to change your life, because like attracts like. And if you create more abundance, the feeling of abundance in your life, you will definitely receive more abundance into your life from different areas.
Yeah. And it's so true. I mean, you know what? We hear this, but we don't believe it. And I think that's one of the blocks, is when we genuinely, like, we've got to start believing that it does. Like, what we focus on, we attract more of. It's that like attracts like. It's that where focus goes, energy flows. It's getting into, from a science perspective, it's when that something gets into, it's called your reticulator activating system. So it's like attracts like, right? It's when you want to buy a new red car. Let's say it's a red Toyota Corolla, right? And then all of a sudden, you see it everywhere. You're just dying to buy this brand new car. And then now you see it everywhere because you're attracting it into your life. That's just one example, because I know some people can get confused on the like attracts like thing. So it can be in a physical form. It can be in a metaphysical form, like the spiritual side. The more the more positive thoughts and loving thoughts we give ourselves, the more we're actually going to attract in from other people as well. And we're going to be getting nurtured from other people, not only ourselves. And I just think it's just so powerful. And I guess we, you know, Bee, you and myself, we just want everyone listening, we just want you guys to do this stuff because we know it works. And we've experienced it firsthand, and we're still using this process. And we just want everyone else, you know, to use this so they can feel more abundant. So I love that. I really, really do love that. I think that was all my questions. Is there anything else that you would just love to add in anyway, or love to share?
No, I know. Maybe I have a Facebook group, and if someone wants to come and join, they are very welcome to join us in my Facebook group.
Yay, yes. So the beautiful Bee, her business manifesting squad. So in the show notes, you are going to be able to, I'm going to post all the links to the website, Facebook group, Pinterest, YouTube, I think there was as well. You're everywhere. I love it. You're on almost every platform. It's so good. So you can go and follow her stuff, connect to her stuff, and request to join the Facebook group. So it's a free Facebook group.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Full of amazing content. I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, guys, go to the show notes and you'll be able to find, I'm sure you could search, what's the name of the group?
Manifesting Squad. So it's Manifesting Squad everywhere. My website, YouTube, Pinterest, and Facebook.
Yeah. Awesome. So you can have a little look on Facebook. I know Manifesting Squad might be a like on, you know, Facebook groups, there can be more than one with the same name. Do you have what's the color of your logo? If someone's like listening right now and going to be like, oh, I'm just going to go search it.
So it's dark pink, but there is a picture of me, so I think they will just recognize it.
Perfect. But yeah, link will be in the show notes, guys. Don't stress. So you'll be able to connect all through there. Plus, there'll be extra links. I think there's going to be quite a few resources in the show notes of this. I think the show notes itself is going to have more valuable content than what we just talked about. I think it's going to be great. Well, Bee, I'm honestly so grateful that I got to interview you and I could give you this time to be on this podcast. You've added so much value already, and I know the listeners are absolutely loving it. Guys, if you love this, I'd love for you to jump on and leave a review for Bee. Not only just for this podcast, but leave the beautiful Bee a review. I know she would just absolutely love to see all the, you know, the hearts and the love coming through. You deserve it, babe. You really do. You've worked really hard.
Thank you.
You've come from somewhere that so many people have been stuck in and probably still stuck in, and you've been able to summon the courage, you know, to break free, and now you're helping other people do the same. And I think that's just beautiful. I really do. So yeah, thank you for joining.
Yeah, thank you again for having me.
No worries. Well, guys, I think I'll leave it there. I've already reminded for the review. Just making sure I'm checking all the boxes that I usually do at the end. I think that's everything. Well, can't wait to upload this so everyone can get listening. All right, guys. I hope you have a lovely day, and I hope you enjoyed this episode.